DB?
Yeah, I worked for Jeff Fisher and his brother. They owned a couple of gyms in Northern and Southern California. They had a chain that I used to run for them. We had a pretty decent relationship, but I always had bad vibes from him. Everything that I used to report to him was only numbers. So we never had conversations about family or anything like that. So he always struck me as I know it sounds crazy, but he always struck me as a bigot. And have you experienced anything like that with him or any coaching staff or just anybody in the NFL, period?
No, no, because we would have definitely had words if I came across that. Yeah, not with him. He was just, I don't know. To me, it'd be like he can tell you one thing to your face, and he go, you're not in the conversation or you're not in the room, then he'll tell, something different. Like we had that conversation. Well, I'll tell you, when I came across that, I was like, all right, I don't really trust anything he says.
Wow.
Anymore. And I was already getting that vibe, and I was kind of telling my agent that. But then, I was kind of, telling him that. And then like when I kicked Garrod or whatever, got suspended for their like 5 or 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
So we go in his office, that the day after the game. So, he's like, oh, come up talk to me. So me and my agent went out there, and he was like, look, Albert, you gotta appeal this suspension. You need to appeal this. There's no way you could do this. We're in a race, you need to appeal it. And all this stuff, right? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to appeal it. Like, all right, what I did was wrong. They're going to give me a suspension, and I guess I'll agree with it. Like, okay, because what I did was wrong. So I'm fine with that. I'm going to do that. And so that's what I told him. And then literally, so leaving it like in his office, me and my agent, I think, still kind of in there because he was like, I got to go because I got to do this interview. So he literally walks out of his office, walks in his interview, and was like, yeah, we don't know if we even want Albert on the team.
Wow.
Like my agent was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this dude just want to beg, like, we need you here and and all that stuff. And then he goes out and says that. I said, I told you. And he's like, wow. And he was like, the guy talks off both sides of his mouth. So I was just like, I kind of, like, his word is just as much as you want to weigh on it. How much gold you want to put on this? Like, me, I'm not putting that much. So, not that he's a bad guy or anything. I liked him as a coach, but it's just, we kind of knew that because He told me, he was like, oh, you're going to retire here. I'm like, well, I guess I'm retiring in year 7.
Wow. You spoke about Andre Garrod, that infamous head stomping thing. And I read in the article that you guys actually became pretty good friends after that. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Like, it was really the heat of the battle. I'm a very passionate player, and I think I felt like he crossed the line with a play, and I said something to him, and then he was just like, oh, like, yeah, like something dirty, real dirty. I'm like, what? And so I think that's what like flipped my switch. Like, oh yeah, well, this ain't football, man. This is life or death. This is between me and you. You trying to take, stuff away from my family, and all that stuff. Like it was like at that point. So it was just like at any time, like it was gonna flip. Like I could have been Billy Cole out there if I had a gun. I'd have been shot that mug. That's where it was in that field of battle. And I flipped out. Looking back, I literally flipped out and don't remember. Like, all I remember is like yelling on the sideline and then getting going to the locker room. And I'm in the locker room. And I'm just like, what in the hell did I just do? And so like look around because there's nobody else in the locker room. I'm just like, and then they start replaying on TV. I'm like, holy crap. cannot believe I did that. Like I went, I mean, you know, when people like lose their mind, go temporarily insane or do, you know, like just, you know, do something crazy, like that's where I was. And then I flip back and it's just like, wow, like, wow, you know? And so that's why I was like remorseful for what I did after the game. It's like, yo, like, I mean, people want to understand if you try to explain it to them, like, you know, you just like somebody's trying to hurt your family or something, and you're going to just flip out and like kick their ass or something. Like people want to understand that. They're like, oh, it's just a game or whatever. So that's why I didn't try to explain anything. And that's why I was like, I'll just take whatever punishment they give me and, you know, that be that.
How would you summarize your 7 years in Tennessee? Because
I think it was great. I mean,
the last 3 years were phenomenal.
Yeah, I made lifelong friends. Or not even friends, like brothers.
Wow.
You know, I mean, like me and Bullock hang out every week.
Wow.
You know, my D line guys are still around here. We hang out. Like we had a Super Bowl party down here in Nashville that we hung out. I mean, not even like we had it, but it was just like we got together.
Sure.
You know, to watch the game and hung out and all that stuff. I mean, just good times. I mean, like true friends and coworkers or brothers. You know, like I mean, it was a great time. Small city. Now, if we would have had this city when we played, oh my God.
Well, it's definitely more developed. I was there last February for a fight. It's the downtown area is definitely growing.
Like what? Like I mean, it was when we was playing. Hell, he stayed away from downtown. Like the Broadway, that was nobody's going down there now. These guys got to be winning Super Bowls, man.
Wow.
With this city, I mean, it's everywhere is rocking. I mean, skyscraper. I mean, cranes, everything. This place is getting crazy built up.
Why Washington over Tampa Bay?
Because it wasn't ever about the money. Whoever thought like, oh, go ask for $100 million. Like the way these guys are now, I was nowhere even close. Like, no, I didn't know really what the market would be good. This a good now. I didn't care necessarily about the market like that. Like my agent would bring these numbers to me, like, you know, like, dude, that's nothing. Like this guy right here is getting paid more than you. I'm like, what? Like this guy? Like he couldn't